Good day, ladies and gentlemen. So in today's video, we're going to look at how we can measure and model our SketchUps accurately. And we're going to look at how we would build a very simple model like a table. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just delete this guy. The next thing I'm going to do is just click on this I button here, which tells me all about my model info. I'm going to check that my units are in centimeters. That's just going to save me a little bit of time. Okay, so a table. The first thing we're going to do is do the top of the table. And I'm going to click on rectangle. I'm going to put it on the origin. I'm going to click once. And then I'm going to type 100, 100. And because I've already said centimeters, that means 100 centimeters by 100 centimeters. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is to pull this tabletop up by 10 centimeters. Okay, that looks great. It's a good start. So I'm going to just zoom in a little bit. I'm going to use my pan and rotate so that I can get a better view. Okay, now on the right hand side again, what I want to do is see underneath the table so that I can accurately position the legs. And what I'm going to do is click the scenes button here, which is the one that looks like a movie clapper. And then this gives us some standard views. Okay, and I want to see the bottom view of my model. So now I'm underneath my model looking up. And I'm just going to change the zoom. So that I'm zoomed in quite nicely. Okay, let me just close that again. And again, just using the pan just to move things around. Okay. So the way that we can measure things in SketchUp is by using this tape measure. And we can use it two ways. We can either measure it and put a mark, or we can measure it and put a guideline. So the first thing we can do is I'm going to click the tape measure. I want to measure a point that's 10 centimeters from this corner here. Okay, so I've clicked on that corner, and then I'm just going to type 10, and that now gives me this tiny little mark here. Okay, I'm going to do that again. Click on the corner. Do 10. And now I've got one at 10 and one at 20. Okay. So I'll do the same thing from this side. I'll click on the corner and then do 10 and then enter and then click again and then do 20 and then enter. Okay, so now I've got these 4 marks. The next thing we can use the tape measure for is to create a guideline. So if I click on this line here, okay, now I'm creating this dotted line, which is a guide. And what I'm going to do is move my mouse over to the 10 centimeter mark that I made. So now I've got a line that is exactly 10 centimeters away from this first edge. Okay, I'm going to do that again with my 20 centimeter line. And do it on this side with my 10, and then do it on this side for my 20. Okay. So these are a set of guidelines that are going to be one side of my legs, and I'll show you how that works now. Then I'm going to do the same thing, but from this side as well. So click on this point, and then do 10 centimeters. Click on this point, and then do 20 centimeters. And then from here, click on this point. Click on this point and do 10 centimeters. Click on this point and then do 20 centimeters. Okay, great. And now put my guidelines in by clicking on the line and then click on the point that we made. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is use these guidelines to position my legs. I'm going to put the rectangle, I'm going to move the mouse, and it's going to snap to the intersection of these guidelines. So that's where one leg is going to be. That's where the other leg is going to be. There and there. Okay. Right, if I just rotate this around again now, you can see that we've got the underneath of the table, and we've got these 4 rectangles that are now placed out. And then finally, I'm just going to extrude this rectangle out 80 centimeters. Extrude this one out 80 centimeters. This one we'll extrude out 80 centimeters. And this one will extrude out 80 centimeters. Okay. And now when I zoom out, and what I'll do is go back to my scenes and say, show me the isometric view. Okay, so now we can see that I've got my table. Finally, now I've still got the guidelines here, so I might just use the eraser and then just go around and delete my guidelines. And of course, if we want to now add some material, and maybe something different for the legs. Okay, so there we have our accurate table. Now, we've used the tape measure to actually position things. There's another tool that we can use to show measurements. So if I click the 3 dots here, and then I click on dimensions, now I can click on 2 points. So I'll click this point and this point, and you can see that I can actually draw out a dimension line that shows people exactly how far it is between these 2 points. So if somebody is building these tables, they'll know how big each piece of wood needs to be. Okay, so in this video we've talked about setting the dimension properties for the right units, so centimeters. We've talked about using guidelines with the tape measure, and we've talked about using dimension lines to show what those dimensions actually are. Really looking forward to seeing what you produce, and I'll see you all soon. Take care.